Yes, Sir Hairless here. Today we have Geoff Castellucci with his cover of one of my favourite carols, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. This one has been recommended to me in the comments quite a number of times. And first things first, I'd like to apologise. I'm a bit bunged up at the moment. It's very cold, etc. So if I sound a bit different, that's why. However, Geoff is known for his low notes. And right now my voice is much lower than it usually is. For example, normally I would struggle to sing, which is a bottom E, the lowest note a choral bass is expected to sing. Dum, 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 dum. So that could come in handy if trying to demonstrate, but I probably won't because, well, you can hear for yourself. Okay, that's out of the way. I have done a video on God Rest You Merry Gentlemen before. That was Pentatonix's version. I thought that was so good. I really enjoyed it. They did what they usually do. They changed it up. Here's a little clip of a transcription I did of that changed section. So if you want to hear another version of this song, please go and check that one out, card up here. But this is not a Pentatonix video. It's a Geoff Castellucci video. It's my fourth time hearing him, or my fourth video on his solo works. I love the carol. It's got very interesting harmonies and it's homophonic, which, as you can see from the traditional music on the screen, all parts move together. They sing the same words at the same time in the same rhythms as each other. I can see the starting thumbnail. Usually it might be a black screen, but I can see for Geoff's. So I am expecting something cool, whether that be homophony or something different. Will it be 4-part a cappella from the other Geoff videos I've seen, which you can find in my dedicated Geoff playlist up here or linked below? He's used instrumentation and has kept a cappella for voice play. So let's get straight into it.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Woe, tidings of comfort and joy. Comfort and joy. Tidings of comfort and joy. Now to the Lord sing.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. That's different. We have the 4 vocal parts. We have the backing instrumentation. Overall, quite a dark feeling to it with the bells as well. And the set, really nice. A glimmer of hope or positivity with the bright lights coming through in the background. We've had significant rhythmic changes. There was a change in time signature. But I will get back to this all later because it looks like there's another 2 minutes or so of this. Geoff seems to be fine with copyright, at least in my previous videos of his. So I'm going to risk just listening to it all until the end, and then we'll go over the analysis afterwards.
Now to the Lord sing praises. Now to the Lord sing praises. Now to the Lord sing praises. Now to the Lord sing Now to the Lord sing praises, all you within this place, and with true love and brotherhood each other now embrace. Only time of Christmas all others doth deface. Whoa, tidings of comfort and joy. Comfort and joy, oh, tidings of comfort and joy. God rest ye merry gentlemen. God rest ye merry gentlemen. God rest ye merry. The shepherds at those tidings rejoiced much in mind, and left their flocks a feeding in tempest, storm, and wine, and went to Bethlehem straightway the Son of God to find. comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Now to the Lord sing praises. Now to the Lord sing comfort and joy. Now to the Lord sing praises. Now to the Lord sing comfort and joy. Comfort and joy.
Well, that was definitely interesting. I really liked that. I think of the Geoff works I've seen so far, this is my favorite.
Christmas Day.
With voice play, ever since my first reaction, I was told to always check the credits because sometimes they include a karaoke version where you have all of the backing tracks except for the melody. With something like this, that was the starting part.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
And as soon as it started, I was wondering, is this going to just be a cappella the whole way through? Obviously it wasn't. And I was thinking, oh, is this worth transcribing? Maybe not. And now I think definitely not, because we can hear the parts at the end there, the three accompanying parts so clearly. I really like that he's included that. I mentioned there was a rhythmic change, which I will talk about. But when we start here, chum, 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 chum. Very much thinking in 2s or 4s, but this is standard common time, and you can really hear that in the backing parts every time they move. And then to go to the second line, we have a suspension introduced.
On Christmas Day.
When there are suspensions, I always try and point out at least one. I have received a number of comments actually from my regular viewers who say that they can now pick them out and recognize them, which I love to see. And again, by that little karaoke bit at the end, it's just made extra obvious.
Christmas Day.
And then that note there kind of implies this major harmony. And when we heard it the first time,
Christmas Day to save us.
that really stood out to me. It's so simple. All he's done is he's just offset 2 of the accompanying parts by 1 beat. So we have the other 2 parts, including the melody. But that is one of the most standout moments of the piece to me, maybe because of the harmonic implications. But throughout this arrangement, there are definite similarities that I can see with some of Geoff's voice play arrangements. I think that's very cool when you're, you know, a professional musician like him, with so many millions of people watching your arrangements. It's imperative, well, not imperative, but I think it's great to just have such a recognizable own style. Anyway, so this intro a cappella 4-part melody with 3-part accompaniment, melismatic accompaniment, lyricless accompaniment, all very smooth, very calm, relaxing. It continues.
Save us all from Satan's power when we were.
The upper part rising chromatically. And now that's moving fairly high in chest voice, so a testament to Geoff's ridiculous range, as we know, as we've seen many times, and we get later on in this arrangement. So I'm just going to mention that now. There's no point me talking about it when we get it later on. Then I was going to say on Comfort and Joy, we get our first homophonic moment, like I spoke about in the introduction, all of the parts singing the same words at the same time. We did get that earlier with the suspension I spoke about. This, though, is a bit more homophonic, if I can say that, and I think, again, it's because of how drastic of a change it makes with the harmony. I love it here.
Comfort and joy. Comfort and joy.
Finishing on this chord, the bass note is down here. It's quite far down though, so I'll play it up in the same octave as the other notes. So this is the chord we get, spaced out very, very nicely. The bass down an octave. If we bring the upper part down, then it's a standard B minor chord. In short, that's just not the chord we expect to hear at the end of this phrase. In the traditional carol, we get... And what's Geoff done? He's just changed 1 note and changed the voicing. So we've basically gone from a D chord to a B minor chord. Here is our friend, the circle of fifths. Don't worry about what it is, but every major chord in the dark green on the outside has a related minor chord in the lighter green on the inside. D is the major chord we'd expect, but instead we get B minor. As we saw, we just needed to change one note, which kind of shows that they're related. They are very similar, but also very different. And we get these slight harmonic changes a few times in the arrangement, every time very quirky, and every time I really enjoy it. And interestingly, in my mind, that was the main first homophonic bit, but the melody actually stopped singing for that bit. We have 3-part harmony. And the melody seamlessly passes over to the descending bass part that ends up very, very low. Oh, that's a bottom B. I don't know if the mic picked up me trying to do it there, but that's like a 5th lower than I can usually go. The end of the first verse comes, and what happens? Well, we do get now homophony in all of the parts, but things seem to be moving a bit quicker. Then we get rhythmic augmentation on the last notes of that phrase, which means that the notes are just sung for longer than they usually would be. We're expecting comfort and joy, but no, comfort and building up to something. What? Well, that's where we get the change in the rhythms fundamentally. We have the beats coming in, the bells, of course, but the beat, that's the key indication of the rhythmic change. We can hear now 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're thinking in 3s instead of in 2s or 4s like before, and that's called compound time rather than the common time we were in before. With this underlying thinking in terms of 3s, if it's slowed down, you get like a waltz. A bit quicker, there's a bit more urgency to the sound. I find anyway that thinking in these 3s, there's a bit more of a bounce to the sound. And in this case, with the way Geoff's done things, I find it keeps things moving and perhaps makes it a little bit more sinister than your typical Christmas carol. He enters on the super deep note, and then we get just main Geoff singing the melody. So we really have time to focus on the instrumentation that has come in, rather than having 4 voices and then the bell and the beat and whatnot. Then the other Geoffs come in. Was born on Christmas Day. There's that classic rhythmic manipulation that I would so expect to see in a voice play arrangement. A bit of variety to the sound texturally, rhythmically, and that exaggerates what happens next. A return to what we've been hearing before with the melismatic accompaniment. To save us all from Satan's power. The chromatic line coming back. So we've got like a repeat of ideas that we heard previously, but the setting is now just very different, very changed, mainly because of the rhythms. I'm kind of playing ahead, seeing if there's something worthy of mention, and then I mention it. That tends to be how I do these videos. Every second is something new to mention. I can't do that because I'll be taking up your valuable December time. So I'll say the next bit, but then I'll try and be a bit better with just talking too much. When we were gone astray. Again, harmonic change, and Geoff's done something here. He has done harmonic preparation. Which again, it's subjective, it's all subjective, but that chord here typically would then move to another chord. I'm sure there's some fascinating physics behind it, the frequencies, that kind of thing, but he just moves to a different chord, at least one that I completely was not expecting. That's called a leading note in music for a reason, because it leads into the next one, but he doesn't do that. Ending that phrase on an unresolved chord, and then the white music in the background, major, happy, angelic. And later on when we get these white lights, where is it? Here. I bet Ellie did this lighting, didn't he? I'm told that he does the lighting, often for voice play and for Geoff and stuff. He might say actually in the description. Yeah, there we go, lighting design, Ellie Jacobson. After this happier section, finishing in the major chord, then we get the bell. The lights go back, and the use of the bell, that was very, very prominent when it first came in. Geoff is being very careful when to use it. And I think that's super important whenever you have a new instrument. In the world of a cappella, if you introduce a new voice, a new part, you're thinking, what's its purpose? What's it going to add to the sound? The bell, to me, is quite a damning sound. I don't know why, it just reminds me of funerals or death or dark, cathedrals, rain. I'm thinking now of Hellfire, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Check out my voice play reaction to that if you haven't seen that, by the way, card up here. here. And also my Peter Hollins reaction, actually, which was another phenomenal arrangement of it, card up here. But what was I saying? Yeah, the bells. Used infrequently, but very effectively. More new instrumental sounds.
Lord, sing praises.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha in strings. Definitely more of a rhythmic roll that rather than a harmonic roll. And then this bit, so voice play. And when I was listening to this section, I was thinking this is not my favorite part of the arrangement, but I completely understand its purpose, like a little transitionary section. Everything's a bit more flowy now. The melismatic accompanying parts are much more free, quicker rhythms. Same with the melody, a bit more of a full sound, growing towards something to what, well, this next section I'm about to play really leans into this idea of growth. Geoff again changes the harmony significantly, but also not so significantly. Because we start and finish where we'd expect. Just some funkier harmonies in the middle. I'm sure we can all hear the growth there, quite literally, with the rising melody as well. And he just adds in so many little things, just for a bit of variety to make things interesting.
Comfort and joy, oh, tidings of come.
Cool in response between him and then the pizzicato strings part. Maybe you don't like these extra additions, but the ones that I've heard so far, I just think they're really interesting and they really keep me engaged as a listener, as a viewer, and they're not used too much, too heavily. They're not overbearing. So yeah, I do like pretty much all of his stylistic choices. Moving forward a little bit, again, very voice play.
God rest ye merry gentlemen. God rest ye merry gentlemen.
I could imagine voice play singing that completely.
Shepherds at those tidings, rejoicing much in mind.
And here I love that reduced back to a cappella homophony, like I spoke about in the introduction, what you'd expect based on the traditional carol. And the rhythms now swing rhythms, which simply means instead of 1 2 1 2, where every note is an equal length, it becomes bouncy. The first note's longer, the next one shorter. Dum ba bum ba bum. I think that works really well.
Shepherds at those tidings, rejoicing much in mind.
It's like a traditional carol, but just modernized and a bit eerie. I love it. Then we get the flashing lights bit I spoke about a bit earlier.
Bethlehem, straightway the Son of God to find.
Disjointed, staccato, wide, well, to exaggerate the climax of that phrase, which is this suspension. Very elongated, very exaggerated, smooth. The idea of contrast is now much more prominent than before, I think, with these really quite drastic changes, again, especially rhythmically. And then finally, we get a tease. He teases us with a Ties de Picardy, where you finish a predominantly minor piece of music in the major. So you finish things all happy and nice. We've got the white light in the background. And I thought that could be the end. But no, he carries on for a final verse. And then obviously we pass through this.
Comfort and joy.
I was not expecting that with that super low note and then just suddenly back in with the Ties de Picardy. Major, happy, full chord, and then the drums to finish off. That was really cool. Like I said, right after hearing it for the first time, I think that's my favorite work of Geoff that I've seen before. So please comment down below other works by Geoff you'd like me to see and do videos on. It's always great seeing a complete rework of one of your favorite songs or carols and you end up really liking it. I'm going to go listen to this a few more times, get me in the Christmas spirit, and hopefully it's got you feeling festive too. If it has, please check out my Christmas playlist. All of my previous Christmas reactions and all the ones to come will be in there. You can find that linked below in the description or card up here. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you'd like to support me, you can donate me a hot chocolate or two at the Buy Me a Coffee linked below. Or if you'd like to join the community, get access to exclusive content, you can do so by joining the Patreon on the screen now. And I will see you next time.